had noticed when I arrived in the second terminal was that there was in fact a flight that was due to leave at exactly the same time as the flight that I thought I was getting on, and it was run by Aer Lingus, which would lead me to believe that that would be the flight that I was on. However, the number was EI103 or something like that. It was not UA161. And I thought, look, I am going to have to wait and just keep patient until this gate opens. This was the gate for EI101 or something, or 103 or something like that. And I'm going to have to ask them. Well, I was the second person in the queue, and this guy opened the desk, and I went to him and I said, look, I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here or not. I've got a ticket, an e-ticket, for UA161, United Airlines, but it does say that it's run by Aer Lingus. I said, I've been to the terminal that serves United, and it's not listed there. There is a plane here listed leaving at the same time, but it's a different number. It's EI103 or something like that. Is this in fact a case of same plane, different number? And he said, for want of a better word, yes, this is the plane that you're supposed to be getting on, but you have the American number, if that makes sense. Now, they need to coordinate better. The problem is that the Americans have listed a list of transports that are used to get to destinations where they have customs outside of their own country. I've never ever come across another country doing this before, especially not the US. I would have thought the US would be the last country to do this, but it's what's called pre-clearance. So basically, I assumed, like everybody else, that you go through customs and then at the British end, and then you don't go through any customs when you're in Dublin, but you do go through customs when you arrive in the US. And that's basically not how it goes if you're doing a connected flight to the US. What happens is you go through pre-clearance at your connection. So instead of customs in Manchester, nothing in Dublin, customs in the US, it's actually British customs in Manchester, US customs in Dublin, nothing when you arrive in the US, nothing at all. It's very weird, very strange, and I didn't actually understand that even then until I got on to until I arrived in Dublin, because the first thing that I was going to suggest is, well, why don't they just unify numbers so that there is one number for one plane leaving under one airline from one terminal? And now I understand why they're listed differently. So, had I booked through a different travel agent, they would have probably given me a different number, but there we are. I went through Expedia, so not a problem. Then it was a case of going through British Customs, which was not too bad at all, partly because I'd done it before, so I knew what to do, and I had all my stuff ready to just empty into the boxes, including my shoes. My shoes are new, and I'd got them deliberately so that you tie them, but I had them loose enough to be slip on, slip off for customs, because I know from experience that you have to put your, put your shoes through. The only thing was that I set off the metal detector, and then they decided that they were going to do some sort of swab thing. Anyway, I ended up being clear, but I don't quite, because obviously they said, well, are you wearing anything metal? And I said, no. My shoes were off, I didn't have a belt, I don't have a watch, I wasn't wearing any chains, I had nothing that was metallic on me. So when I set it off the second time, they did this swabbing thing. I don't know if they were looking for sort of metallic bits on my skin. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I passed, so they let me through. And then of course they say, well, do you not have a stamp on your passport? Because I don't know if it's possible to show you if I have my passport with me, which I do. When I last went to the US, they gave me a little sticker, and the little sticker is to go on your passport. Let me see if I can show you a bit closer. So you have a little sticker down there, and that's obviously a really old one, and what they were looking for was another sticker. Apparently I should have had one, and I was never given one. So then we had to go through the talk again. Where are you going? Where is your destination? Who are you likely to see? Why are you going to the US? So anyway, I just answered honestly, and there was no problem in the end, and they let me go through. And then I was in the duty-free area, and the gates in Manchester are long and thin, and there are no seats, so you have everybody standing or sitting. It's not a good setup. It's a visually stunning airport, but it's not designed very well, I don't think. So anyway, then I got on board the plane, and it was one of these planes where you go down and you actually walk across, and then you walk up steps to get on, and there's 2 steps, one at the front of the plane, one at the back of the plane. And because of the number of my seat, I got on at the back and walked forward, and I discovered that I had a window seat in a little block of 3, and nobody else got on that was going to sit next to me, so I had all 3 to myself. It was fabulous, and I watched as we took off, which I enjoy, and I enjoy landing as well. And yeah, I didn't see very much because there was a lot of cloud over England and Wales. And then I saw the coast of Ireland as we went in. It was clear over Ireland, and down we went. It was a scheduled change. It was supposed to leave at 8 and it left at 8:10, but that was a scheduled change that in fact Expedia had warned me about 3 days before, so there was no problem because I still had about 2 hours to spend. And that was an issue because when I got to Dublin I was slightly hungry, slightly thirsty, and they don't use sterling, they don't use dollars, they use euros, and I had about, I don't know, €3 on me. So I did have to do a card transaction on my debit card, so that's just something to bear in mind when I go back, see if I've been charged for use abroad or whatever. But you know, it was a dire situation. I needed a drink by then, and it was then coming up to 12, which was 12 and 12 is 24 hours awake for me, although I'd had 12 hours sleep before that. So I'd been awake for 24 hours, and I was just about to get on the long haul flight from Dublin all the way to Liberty International Airport in Newark.